watching Mallrats, a Star Wars podcast. Thank you for listening. All right, welcome back to the Mallrats podcast.
Welcome back. It's been
Forever.
been a bit.
It's been a while.
It's been a bit. Yeah, life happens.
Life happens.
And killing time between Boba and Obi-Wan, which should have just be called Kenobi.
It should.
Did we agree on that? Just call it Kenobi. We
So,
don't need Obi-Wan.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Who are you?
Oh, I am Bob.
I'm Nolan.
Yeah, welcome back. We are jumping back into our Mandalorian rewatch, where we provide commentary over whatever is on our mind as we sync up and watch the episode together. So, in theory, you were watching it with us,
Sort of.
where we sync it up and we hit play at the same time. So it's kind of like what was that called? Mystery Science Theater, where you can just have a commentary for a B movie, that type of thing, or some maybe C level movie. Oof. You ever seen one of those before?
I have.
You enjoy them?
No.
No. It's kind of an acquired taste.
Mm-hmm.
Silliness. But anyway, so we're getting ready to, we are starting the second season, so we've already and we do 2 episodes at a time. So if you are watching along, and you have time, just cue it up and hit play. If you know it show well enough that you can just listen to us in your car, whatever, you don't have to cue it up. And hopefully, at this point, there's clearly going to be spoilers talked about.
Spoilers.
Connections to Boba Fett, especially with Cobb Vanth here. So it's, I think, very vital to know what's going on and make it more pleasurable. But if you want to just listen to us, I guess that's totally your prerogative.
I don't know what that means.
Prerogative? Bobby Brown. It's my prerogative.
Yeah, what's that mean?
It's your prerogative. It's your choice.
Okay.
We're all about choices. And you need to have one.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
Stop talking. It's my choice.
We have the Disney app queued up to season 2, episode 1, which is the Marshal. And so we are going to count down, and on the count, was it 3? Yeah.
It's on go.
It's on go. So we have to count down. So if you can either pause us until you get your Disney icon up, and we have the blue screen ready to go. And ready. 3,
2, 1, go.
And it's starting.
We're gonna watch the recap.
The recap of, since it's been a while for us, and if you're following along with us, and only rewatching them with us, then it's probably been a while for you as well. Okay, now, if I remember right, you're doing what sort of checklists are you keeping track of?
Oh, right.
You have like your little bingo sheet type thing
I
of.
do have a bingo sheet.
Can you remind us what the things were you were looking up?
I have gunshot dings on his armor.
So he has to get hit.
Specifically, gunshots.
Okay.
Dank Ferrix. And This Is the Way.
This Is the Way.
Of which is at 13.
And we can't recount them from the...
No.
Yeah.
But what do you mean recount?
In the recaps, we can't count them.
Oh, no. That's cheating.
Giancarlo Esposito is a fantastic casting choice.
Despacito.
Mm-hmm. Can you remember watching this the first time?
No.
Not really.
I remember rewatching it.
This premiered on October 30th, 2020. So about a year and coming up on 2 years, so a year and a half ago. I just distinctly remember not knowing what to expect, but after it, I just remember being blown away that I think at the point this was my favorite episode.
Mm-hmm.
Now there were a few that
still is
passed, but this is definitely a top flight episode for me.
Yeah, we're gonna be rewatching the best episode and the worst episode, all in one rewatch.
I totally forgot what's coming up next. Now, to be fair, it
does set up stuff.
This one is so good, you really can't keep escalating greatness, especially when it's your premiere. you gotta take your foot off the gas a little bit.
I don't think they should have taken an entire episode to take the foot off the gas.
Just because it was such a high
Yeah,
of a first one.
because all they did was just introduce a character to get their way to a planet to continue the series.
Which there was importance of.
Yeah, yeah.
Coming out of the darkness. Love it. Something about his walk, man. Not Walkman. Walkman.
This isn't the 80s.
No. But he's just got a swagger and that cape helps. But I really enjoyed, because you can, yes, they're in the volume, but you can tell when, there's certain things that are static sets that they actually build, and that just looks so much more real than if it was all just green screened, like the prequel trilogy was. Those pretty much everything was green screened. But here, it looks authentic.
So C-3PO.
Yeah, it looked like a little protocol graffiti. I think normal people would probably not feel so comfortable just starting down this dark street. And we've talked before, and we will continue to talk, that for protector of Grogu, or Baby Yoda at this point, he's not the best babysitter.
No.
It seems like he's always throwing him.
I mean, it's just he goes where I go. So
He goes where I go, but don't you think you should figure out a way to take care of him a little bit better? Now this is cool because this is the first time we've seen Gamorreans truly fight with some sort of speed and not be just crazy large, like the pork bellied that they are in Jabba's world.
Jabba's world.
So this is Gor Koresh. Do you remember who
John Leguizamo.
Ah, good boy.
You're welcome.
John Leguizamo. You can't even tell it's him really, because they grabbled him up a bit.
This guy moves kind of like a puppet.
The Gor Koresh.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in the Star Wars Cantina in A New Hope,
It looks kind of wacky.
You just see a lot of new species for the first time, and whoever their creative people are, to have a very, looks like liberal freedom to create and not just keep recycling the same handfuls over and over. Uh-oh. Okay, that caused some people to lose bets.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot one of the competitors.
Except the people who bet on one getting shot.
What's the over-under? 0.5?
Both of them.
Yeah. Alright, so I think this is a moment from the trailer when they were teasing this the very first time, where they show Baby Yoda hiding. Great line. He knows what's up. Awesome.
And remember, they have to be gunshot dings.
Oh, low blow.
There would be a lot of dings.
That would have crushed that guy's hand. Twice. Wow. Boom.
The sound design in this episode alone is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll do our best to talk as we think of things.
This
We
is
got to get back. We got to get back into our
well.
routine
This is just like watching it for the first time. You know,
because
you want to keep watching
you
it.
want to just keep watching. We just get stuck, and that's why I think if somebody's driving, listening to us, and we're not talking
Yeah, might as well
nonstop,
turn it off.
I think it would be much better because then you would just get stuck watching it. Pause it and
Moss
rewatch.
Pelgo.
Especially when things start getting so good, you just want to just watch. That's a good problem to
He's
have.
talking. Focus on the story.
Now, John Leguizamo and Jon Favreau are friends. Can you remember what movie they starred in?
Chef.
Chef. Very good. So, since he has John Leguizamo, do you think Vince Vaughn's ever going to show up?
No.
No.
Is Chris O'Dowd gonna show up?
Well, hold on. Vince Vaughn is really good friends with Jon Favreau
Well,
from their
maybe.
swingers days. Chris O'Dowd could show up.
They were swingers.
That was Jon Favreau's first hit,
Oh.
Swingers. In the same way Kevin Smith had Clerks,
Oh.
Swingers was like 95, 96. And Favreau wrote that and starred in it. The brass. Yeah, the music of Mandalorian is just wonderful. And there's Pelly. Kind of forget about the Razor Crest flying around with Boba Fett and the Slave One. We kind of got used to that ship.
And now it's the Phantom Menace Naboo fighter.
Oh, the little Naboo fighter. Which there's something interesting when we see Cop Vanth driving his little speeder.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he has one of those pod racing or Naboo type things on it. So when he mentions it in the Boba Fett, hey, is that a Naboo starfighter? He knows what he's talking about. She is somebody that we talked about before. Really grew on me.
Comedian.
What's that?
Comedian.
Yeah, Amy Sedaris. She's pretty funny, a good character. But it was such a unique character to add to this universe that and there's always been comedy in the movies. I mean that's the droids in the first movie. Han and Chewie, their little back and forth sometimes provide the comic relief.
Witty banter.
But she definitely did grow on me over the course of her episodes. Now, there are a set of trilogies that came out pretty soon after Disney bought, and took all their novels and made them non-canon, called them legends. It's called hey, there's R5D4, otherwise known as. Not everybody knows it's listening.
Skippy the Jedi
Skippy
droid.
the Jedi droid. But it was called like the Aftermath trilogy, which is setting up Force Awakens. So they came out either right before it or around the time Force Awakens did. And Cobb Vanth was a character in there. And it talked about Freetown and I read those when they came out. And then when we watched this, I did not make the connection that I've known Cobb Vanth before. Maybe those novels didn't stick too well with me. But I do remember I think it was the climax of the third book. Spoiler. There's a big battle above Jakku, and so those big ships that crash into Jakku. It kind of sets up that for Rey and everybody else on Jakku.
Some of that sign
The
language.
sign language from the Oscar-winning Best Supporting Actor from Coda.
Some people listening to this don't know who you're talking about.
The movie Coda? Coda won Best Picture at this year's Academy Awards, and the father of the girl, it's a family of deaf. Was it mother, father, and older son are all deaf, but there's a young daughter who is she can hear, and you're the one who told me what Coda means. Do you remember?
Child of deaf adults.
Right. I had no idea.
I just thought it was a music term.
Well, because music is heavily based in this movie. But the dad was Troy Kotsur, Kotsur. And in last season of Mando, he was the first Tusken we see doing sign language. And they brought him on board. This was a couple years ago, obviously, before he won his Oscar. But he helped develop the Tusken sign language. And I didn't know that until after he won his Oscar. All right, so this is the first time we see this this town, Mos Pelgo, which will be later designated in Boba Fett
Freetown.
as Freetown. Literally, though, I mean, the Western is here. He just came riding in on his horse. Everybody looks at the new person.
Walk up to the saloon.
He's just cruising in on his hog right here. No speeder bike. Oh, the Weequay bartender. He got a name in the Boba Fett, but I can't remember his name. Now, this Weequay, the only thing that I'd seen him in before was in the TV show Deadwood on HBO. He was the
with
bartender.
Timothy Oliphant.
Timothy Oliphant is also, he's the sheriff in that. And so seeing these two guys together, knowing that they were from that was pretty awesome. All right, what were your first thoughts about seeing this guy walk in?
Cool.
Yeah, he's wearing Boba's stuff.
It doesn't fit very well, though.
No, look how thin he is. And Timothy Oliphant is in great shape, but it looks like he's putting on kid armor.
Spotchka. I should have kept a tally for how many Spotchka references.
There you go. Now, we don't know who Cobb Vanth is, and this is clearly Boba's stuff, but we know Star Wars well enough to know that that's not Boba's voice. This isn't going to be Boba Fett. Because we don't know Timothy Oliphant. I didn't know until he took his helmet off, and then I instantly think Deadwood or Justified. And here was the first reveal. I'm like, Timothy Oliphant. Best hair on Tatooine.
Galaxy.
Oh, the galaxy. You're going to go that far.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good cameo for the season. What do you think the Spotchka is really?
Gatorade.
Oh, do you think they have to do any?
It's probably just color dye.
You think they have to do anything special to make it extra bluish?
Probably just color on water.
On water.
Or like blue milk is just blue with, it's just milk with blue colored dye.
Yeah. Oh, two alphas. Mando's gonna throw down just for the armor, just for the honor of everything. Shows you where his head is, where his beliefs are. Tension. See, if I were the bartender, I wouldn't be standing directly behind.
No, because he could miss.
Right?
I mean, they never miss.
Uh-oh. Earthquake.
Oh.
Love this. Just a minute. What a good look. Pause this because I need to go check something.
Put a pin in it.
I just remember being blown away by the episode. You got to see Tuskens, you're gonna see Dewbacks, you saw Banthas, and then this, I don't know what it looks like a dust storm coming in just off the horizon, but the ground's definitely shaking. Okay, Bantha, close up, closest up you've ever seen.
Kind of an awkward close up.
It was got real snotty there,
Yeah.
and still we don't know what's coming. A stampede, and then we hear it. Yeah, you hear the sound of what Obi-Wan Kenobi makes to scare off the Tuskens to save Luke, very first time. And you're like, oh my God, it's a crate dragon, which we've never seen. And look how close he comes.
Looks kind of small now.
He just fits nicely in that street. Does he have any idea where he's at? Because he could easily have taken up either side.
Maybe like echolocation
You know what? I bet you're exactly right.
or smell.
Awesome. Just like Jaws.
Big mouthful of sand.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be processing through the sand some
Maybe
way.
that's what the pearl is for.
Pearl. Yeah.
To crush up sand
There you
or
go.
something. I don't know.
So that was awesome. I remember being very excited at that moment because the only other crate dragon we ever saw
That little bony
was
skeleton.
the bony skeleton, which is very tiny, but still pretty scary big, you know.
We could say it's an adolescent.
Sure, sure. That the first time we see 3PO waving down the Jawa transport before he gets captured. So now we know this Cobb Vanth is not a bad guy.
Just protecting the
He's
people.
a marshal. Yep. And the backstory of how he got it and everything is honorable.
Echolocation.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Tells his backstory while they're on very loud speeder bikes.
Yeah, it doesn't seem the best place for
No.
to understand it.
But yeah, it does look like Sebulba's thing.
Yeah. Oh, his are the big ones, aren't they? The but it looks like just one little itty bitty something. Flashback. Now this is where the book talks about the mining guilds and the stuff that happens.
So was Cobb Vanth mentioned in the book before this came out?
Yeah, he was in those books, and the books were 2014, 15, around that time.
So they stole him.
Well, they used a pre-existing character, but yeah. And that's why a lot of fans were happy when they actually referred to it as Freetown later, because that was from the book, I guess. But Crate Dragons we never really saw except for maybe graphic novels of Tuskens. There was a Jedi who was Tusken. There was a story there, and then they would have to go and get
Tusken Jedi.
a pearl from kill a crate dragon in order to be a man or whatever. That was their rite of passage. But it never, ever looked anything as monstrous and awesome as this one does.
Camtono.
Almost too big in a way, you know? I don't know if you know or not, but we did get a email question
did know that.
pertaining to this episode
I did.
that should we talk about it during?
I think.
But
No,
kind of wait till the end.
We'll do it at the end.
Ooh, we can do that while it's wrapping up.
Or like a mid-segment.
Yeah. We'll do that. Since this person was very nice to send one in a couple weeks ago, but we just hadn't recorded since then. So inside of a sand crawler is always cool because you don't see that too much, but when you do, it's a nice throwback to when we see R2 and 3PO reunite, and Cobb has been saved, and he sees the Boba Fett gear, and then we're instantly thinking, what happened to? How did they get Boba Fett's gear? So we have to wait until the Boba Fett show, and they hit it right at the beginning. Uh-oh. Nice. Little head tilt to the bartender. Get out of here. And goodbye. Boy, it's not even a fair fight. Oh.
Nope, it has to be on Mando.
Okay. But he doesn't have he does not have much protection. Look at that.
No.
Pretty much his
he gets shot anywhere.
Down, he would not
He's
be
all like, this armor protects our town.
Oh, I love it. He does the Boba Fett strut. He's gonna have the Boba Fett head tilt and then bend over. Oh yes. Such an unflattering, if you think about it, just bending over
just
at the waist.
Bend over and shoot.
Yep. Now that's the classic Iron Man shot from the very first Iron Man, where he shoots his little whistlers and he walks away for the hero thing. Boba does that, in at the end of the season.
And now he has another rocket. Where do you find those rockets?
You don't.
Are they made specifically for jetpacks?
Of course, they'd have to be, right?
Because Mando has one.
Unless there's some little like mortar or something. Okay, now this is really interesting. The further you get into this series, but also knowing what we do with Boba Fett, this is the very first time that on screen that Tuskens are truly given their moment in the sun, in a way.
They're always in the sun. It's Tatooine.
Because they're potential scavengers and potentially killing Luke, all the way to taking Anakin's mom and keeping her captive. Now, would she eventually have been indoctrinated into them? Were they going to kill her? Who knows? But we have these pets, dogs. What do we call them? Mastiffs?
Whatever. Yeah.
Of the Tuskens. But we finally get to see them, and this is just soak it in for those that have a history of wanting to know more about them. Because this is the first moment you find out about their culture to some degree, but the struggle and resentment and hatred between humans and Tuskens, but yet they can overcome that. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, whole mantra. Thank goodness Mando's there to help with the sign language. Right?
Right.
He's even got the guttural sounds. Gaffy stick. Oh, that's what they're used for. They're dental floss or toothbrushes.
I doubt it. Bantha toothbrushes.
So a lot of the sign language and stuff here, the communication, you're going to see the disagreements of culture and rudeness, and how Mando is definitely more wizened, even if he isn't living amongst them. Huh. The Mastiff licking its lips for a baby.
Kind of like how he does for the egg.
Oh, the black melons.
So they already existed.
Okay, well, I don't remember this when we saw it on and we talked such a big deal about it with
Yeah.
boba. Remember we came up with the idea that they plant them or harvest them
Yeah.
when they need them?
It's milk.
I think Cobb would be a little bit more schooled, but if have you been killing each other and stuff, it'd be very challenging. Monsters. After this episode, I wonder how the coexisting of them go between the two cultures. Better off just stay away from each other.
I think they just stay away. Well, we don't hear anything about it.
Oh, notice the banthas are walking in a single line to hide their numbers, perhaps.
Wouldn't they all overlap though? Or like there would be multiple different step trails.
You could have a big old track, but maybe it's only 3 or 4. And then if they have enough of the hair to swish it around as it sweeps over it.
Maybe.
All right, now this is a sarlacc pit, an old abandoned sarlacc pit that's horizontal.
Is it like
of
it comes
just
out of the
vertical.
side, or is that where like it burrowed in or something and
That's
then it
all
just
of
came out
its
the top?
butt and everything would have been back in that hole.
Oh,
And so its head would have been there waiting for things to come by. Oh, it is. There he said. Sorry, I thought it was
there is if you eat the sarlacc.
that. I would think these banthas would be so valuable.
Oh yeah.
Well, as we see, eventually they're like big harvesters. It's their big like combines out in a farm field,
Mm-hmm.
not just their transportation.
This is the ultimate like just run sideways.
Right? Any movie where somebody's just shooting or running in a straight line, it's like just
I guess
jump off to the
skyscrapers
side.
falling, just
Right?
walk over.
So to get this sheer size of this. All right, so that ceiling is over 100 feet easily, probably. And it went past the bantha because what? The vibrations, the running.
I think it just went after the guy. It doesn't like banthas anymore.
They might be open to fresh ideas.
Oh,
Lucky bantha. No, but based on it being much like Deadwood, if this were like Native Americans, the Indians versus the human settlers, but yet they have to come together to take out this thing that's killing both of them. The what we've seen in movies and in literature, the hatred for two cultures, it just it just humanizes them so much from very, very little screen time, and they were just demonized, for decades in Star Wars lore.
just attacking them.
Yeah, and they're monsters.
Or even in the pod race, they're just shooting
Yeah,
at the
and
pod
they're having fun
racers.
just shooting. And Anakin slaughters them like animals, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I killed them. So, anyways, I don't have to keep beating the dead horse there, but I just really enjoy that aspect of this episode a lot. All right, so we need more people to draw it out.
Yes.
And so we're off on a recruiting mission.
To Freetown.
Hey, there's no chit chatting this time. They were just falling.
Why is there like a difference in speed? Why wouldn't you always just go
Full throttle.
full throttle? Even if it drains power, like whatever.
No idea. Ooh, the town's gonna have a meeting, just like what he's getting ready to call in Boba Fett when he gets shot. Call a meeting.
Call me.
This one's got a problem. Yep. Well, they just saw how it went after a Tusken instead of Bantha. Hmm.
This feels like a Deadwood episode,
Yeah.
despite only seeing one episode.
This fight the what?
Deadwood.
It feels like Deadwood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because all they are, just out in the middle of nowhere, and it's just the people of town, and you just got to help each other. How long ago was you said last year they attacked us? It's been about a year.
Yeah.
Well, they're very fortunate. This appears to be maybe the only crate dragon. Now, on an
Yeah.
overall planet, it's probably there's more, but they would almost be mythological, I would think. See, it's this presence that makes me want to hope that we have one of those. They've hit it a lot in Boba Fett. When it got to the Mando episodes, they talk about the mythosaurs.
Uh huh.
If we got to see what a crate dragon
I
looks
wish
like,
we could see a mythosaur.
why not with it? Why wouldn't they?
Because they're extinct.
Yeah. Oh, well, Star Wars is all about cloning. I don't know. My only thing is that if they can do a
Beasts were
crate
extinct.
dragon, why not a mythosaur?
Ooh.
Yeah, this would definitely be PTSD for some of these people. And can you imagine if some of these people, like
The kids die or
somebody's
something.
husband died or kid died? Okay, this music is very here. It's not Mando. I mean, they gave them their own theme music. It's very probably, and I heard it.
Kinda
People
sounds
talk
like
about
Aladdin.
Lawrence of Arabia, famous desert movie. Very orchestration, beautiful. But yeah, this is definitely not Mando music, and I would wonder if we hear this if we go back to Boba Fett when the Tuskens are moving around.
I think what's playing is the quote unquote Tuscan theme.
I think it's beautiful. I want to hear it again. Oh, dropped one.
I feel like that was an outtake that they worked into the show.
Just like whoops. It's an accident.
It's gonna be
It's
great.
gonna be great.
Single file.
Yeah. Like how they just walk around the dunes, nice and slow. And until we get into the Boba Fett episodes of his TV show, Book of Boba, this is the most culture and existence that you get to see from this whole race of Star Wars characters that have been around since
The first movie.
gosh, what? 15 minutes into the movie? 20 minutes in the original 45 years ago?
I think one of the first aliens.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if they're really aliens.
Them and Jawas, right?
Because aren't they like humans, but they just have to wear the stuff?
Tuskens?
Yeah.
Yes. They use their bandages and stuff to protect them from the sun, to keep their moisture inside. This is nerd alert, but that's why they are all covered.
Nerd.
Now, they aren't necessarily humans, like talking humans, like that would at Mos Pelgo.
Well, yeah.
They would be evolved in their way.
Humanoid, at least.
Yes. Maybe different colors, maybe they have things on their faces, but definitely bipedal. Clearly. Wow. You can hear it breathing. Just like smog.
Yeah.
In the Misty Mountain. Still did not want to take a sip of that. Okay, now, when we see in the Boba Fett show, when the Marshal shows back, Cobb Vanth shows back, he has a young woman next to him, kind of a lackey. She gets a name in the whole defense of Mos Eisley because it's the weak way and the girl, and she goes up with the gun to take out and start shooting at droidicas and other
The
things.
mod?
It's not a mod. There is one type of people, and I'm like, I don't remember. Yes,
the lady who's like, it's all
that's
said.
her right there.
Yeah, that's her.
And she has one line, and I'm like, that would.
I remember watching it for the first time. Like, that would be great for the Screen Actors Guild. You get your line in.
For this one right here, to get a picture of. Careful, Marshall. And
just careful, Marshall.
But you got your line, your credit, maybe.
Then you're in the show.
So that, I think, is the character.
Joe,
I guess. Not a vital role, but.
Detonator.
All right, so what do they got about, 5, 6 harpoons? They must have saw Game of Thrones when they tried to take out one of Daenerys' dragons. They had a big, massive crossbow like that. These guys are brave. Come on, do the classic yell. As actors,
they had to.
All they're doing is just putting their hands up and kind of moving around.
And then they just hit the soundboard and it goes.
Couldn't they have just shot down the hole?
Yeah. That thing wakes up quick.
Yeah. Now, as awesome as this is not very original. A giant worm or monster coming out of the sand.
Ooh.
The old sandworms of Dune, or...
They switched into full screen.
You're right, Nolan.
They got rid of the margins on the top and bottom.
Okay, so the top, what was that, 16:9 ratio or something like that forever?
Something like that.
And then all of a sudden, for this attack, it's gone full screen. So it's definitely 4K.
They know what they're doing.
It's just beautiful. But the whole sand monster, sand worm isn't new. But the crate dragon aspect is pretty clever. Let go.
They're not very bright. Thank Ferric.
Did you notice that Mando put that the telescope in front of an actual eye, or did he just put it in the middle of his T visor? He actually
was there an actual binocular? I thought he just used his helmet.
It was like a telescope type thing. Oh, it might have been a scope on his gun.
Oh.
Yeah, is he putting it over his eye, or is he just
throwing
it up to his T? Yeah, so they're just harpooning a big whale.
It's not original, but it's still cool.
No, it's... How else are this primitive culture gonna, do it? They don't have these machines or anything, and it's... Wow. Wow. So cool.
Oh,
Oh,
God. Never knew
I
that.
forgot about that. Okay, so very much like the xenomorphs in Alien, with their acid spit or vomit, whatever you want to call it. All right, well, you just blew up your load of dynamite. And it sinks into the water. We're saying. Well, at least they're not ripping off Jaws where they throw
Yeah.
some compressed air canister into its teeth and then shoot it with a gun. And it blows up.
I'd like to see that, though.
No. All right, so it must have gone really deep, right?
No.
How did it get up into the mountain? Unbelievable. Ugh.
So is that just like puke?
Yeah. Well, so that, dragons spit fire, right? This one just,
You.
what do you call it? Not volcanic, but acid. All right, here we go. 2 jetpacks. Not sure what you'll be able to do other than distracted. So Cobb Vanth has gotten some practice.
Training.
Yeah. Go for the eye. How close they are to it. So is it too big for his disintegrator to work?
I don't know what the cutoff is, or if there is a cutoff.
Well, we know Jawas and people work.
Is it like a mass thing?
I don't know. You would think it would be something. Chemistry is the wrong word, but physics of it, that if it's matter, it would disintegrate. Man, he just torched his own mountain. So it goes through rocks then as well as sand. And now it's coming behind him.
It's like a shark.
Mm-hmm. I just still am blown away by it, but that first time watching this, I think my mouth was hanging open. Like, I can't, this is just too, it was such a big scale thing for the TV show, right? This is something that would have been big for a movie.
I remember watching this the first time, and I was like, man, I hope every episode is this. Because I was
Right?
going into it like, oh, man, I hope they don't screw up the second season. It's like,
Uh,
whoa.
yeah, and it was just unreal. The magnitude, you couldn't have gotten much bigger. And that's why, and we'll talk about it next episode. There was a bit of a downfall, disappointing. Oh, well, Boba's jetpack has been known to kind of take a misfire.
Yeah.
So there's a little Han Easter egg there. Boba Fett. Boba Fett. All right, so we're taking the.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. All right, so he took the Bantha and. God, I couldn't imagine being in there. The horrors that he had to have seen. All for what?
Armor.
That is it. He doesn't know these people anything. I mean, he probably would have still stayed and helped like he did with the
Yeah.
spotchka farmers. Krill farmers, actually. Spotchka the
Chrome makes sponge.
drink. Okay, so he uses electricity to get out.
Cool.
Yeah. Wow, look at that shot.
It's like the seismic charge with the
Yeah.
Sarlacc.
Now, if you are just listening to us, you really should go back and just watch the episode. If not the episode, just the Krayt Dragon stuff. Because it is on such a big scale. There's no way for us to even describe it, how awesomely large it was.
Watch it fade back to widescreen.
The celebration, pumping their fists over their head. Do we see any free people, humans and Tuskens high-fiving?
Or are they just awkward extras?
Yeah. Cobb Vanth's hair just blowing in the wind. Yeah, that skeleton is not even
Toast.
remotely close to what we saw in the bleached bones next to C-3PO and A New Hope. So now they're just harvesting, just like, the Native Americans with buffalo or deer, every piece that can be used is going to be used. And when they don't have, stores around, they make do with everything. So he gets his big hunk of meat.
So I guess they do have to eat.
Well,
We never see them.
Of
Well,
course.
no, like Mando or like anybody
Mando,
in
yeah.
Star Wars, because it's never a concern.
You're right. I see
But
what
they
you
always
mean.
mention it, like
Like,
in the
Jar
Crow
Jar
Farmer
eat?
episode, they give him a
Yes.
plate of food and he eats it in front of the
And we
kids
see
for
him
some
take his helmet
reason.
off. Like, have we ever seen people?
But now he has meat. Like,
Yeah.
does he regularly go to like Kroger?
Yes, I think Kroger would be the
Space
prime
Kroger.
Space Kroger. Look at the size of that pearl. Well, just like clams and pearl, taking grains of sand over time. And so that right there was an Easter egg back to any of the previous canon, but turned into legend, stories of the taking out crate dragons. Beautiful into the sunset, and then Jon Favreau has given us one other big Easter egg. Awesome. Twin sunsets, and Boba Fett.
He doesn't have his eyebrows yet.
And
But
mind you, this is still 2 months away from the finale. When we find out that there's going to be a Boba Fett show. And that was great. What a fantastic
Beautiful
episode. Still gorgeous. Cobb Vanth, Timothy Oliphant was wonderful. Favorite part? Krayt Dragon?
Krayt Dragon, obviously.
Krayt Dragon. Again, some of the beautiful artwork, very much, the production stills. A lot of them feel like the old Ralph McQuarrie type stuff, used to help George sell his idea to studios, or attempt to get people to see his vision of what's in his head. And so he hired Ralph McQuarrie, an older artist, and he put his visuals on. And a lot of the characters turned out to ultimately be what he drew from his imagination. Okay, so now we're just going to. This is just playing out. We're going to just pause it, stop it. We're going to get queued up for the second episode. So if you want to keep
we're gonna
scrolling,
stall for
that's
you.
fine. But we're getting ours queued up for chapter 10. But while we're doing that, if you want to keep listening to your music, if you're watching along, that's fine. But we do have a question and answer that was sent in a couple weeks ago. But we haven't recorded a Mando rewatch since then, so we saved it in until now. So we're gonna put a kind of a intermission type Q&A, one question, and then we'll jump into the second and last episode of this podcast. So, Nolan.
Okay. This is from Sarah, who said that they just started rewatching season 2 of The Mandalorian. This time, there are a few things that bug me about the plan to kill the Krayt Dragon. First, why wasn't the original plan to have it eat an explosive-laden bantha? The plan of luring it out and pulling it onto a bed of explosives is way more complicated and endangers more people. Seems unnecessarily foolish. Are we supposed to believe that no one had ever had the idea before? The Tuskens had observed the dragon for thousands of years, knew how to lure it out, and knew that its belly was the weak spot to attack, but they never thought to blow it up from the inside. Seems obvious, and a little bugged that Mando had to be swallowed. Made for a more exciting scene, but I guess you could argue that it was attacking from above, so jetpacking away wasn't possible. And he had to keep the bantha from running, still felt a little forced. I agree. It did seem a little bit forced, but I think the original plan wasn't bantha related, seeing as they saw that it didn't eat the bantha anymore, so they thought it was just attracted to like the people. So they might as well just taunt it with all the people and then blow up the belly from the outside. Because I think if you go in, you're kind of going to die. And like they already are, they are going to die unless you're the Mandalorian. but it just seems like a sacrifice. But they can't really do that because it wouldn't go for the bantha.
No.
Like I don't even know why it went for the bantha with the explosives.
Um,
Besides Mando standing next to it.
yeah, maybe he was going mostly for Mando. I would say think about it. It seemed like the Tuscans were the ones to come up with the plan, right? They were the ones with the diorama on the ground or the model, and we got to think that they're. I don't want to diminish them by saying that they're a primitive culture, but they are more sticks and stones. They are the Ewoks, in a way of their primitive weaponry. Um, I don't think they have explosives. Yes, they have guns, so I guess that's a small explosion in a gun canister.
Yeah,
But so for them, just sheer hitting it with big harpoons, maybe they thought that was enough. Now, so I don't know if the Tuscans would ever have thought to blow it up from inside, but they did have the idea for the bantha to be bait to get it out. So yeah, why wouldn't you just strap some stuff onto it right off the start? That might have been one of the things that the humans, more explosive-minded individuals, would have been somebody to come up with that. And it does seem kind of almost pandering in a way that Mando has to be the one to, you know what, I'm going to take care of it, and I need
I
to
think
get it.
that's what the forced part about it was, though, that it has to be the main character to do it. Like,
Yeah,
make the Marshal do it. That would have been better.
I like that it was in. Yeah, the Marshal could have done that, been pretty heroic.
Like, it would have been a moment of like weakness or whatever if, for him to blow Mando's jetpack, and it'd be that, and then he goes and does it.
Oh, so you mean if the roles were reversed?
Yeah,
And yeah, and I think we are all meant to like Timothy Oliphant a lot. Some more than others, and I'm definitely one of the big supporters of his.
I would have liked him more if he did that to him and then still gave the armor
And
away,
then still,
like a man of true honor.
yeah, like you know what, stranger Mando, I don't want you to die for this. I'm
Hmm.
pushing you off the boat so you don't have to worry about this. I'm gonna set your jetpack aflight. Yeah, if it could have, but remember, it's Boba Fett's jetpack that is faulty. That has that little tap, and he goes flying into the side of Jabba's sail barge. And so here he just taps and goes flying. Maybe Mando knows the magic spot to touch.
The bounty
But
hunters back then were
but
useless.
you said what was the name of this person? Is it Sarah?
Sarah,
Sarah. Thank you so much for writing in. We do
two
appreciate
great
your support.
questions.
I do think that in a way of threes, they try with the harpoon to lure it out and fight it. That doesn't work. They eventually get it back out, and it gets underneath it gets over the explosive. So they got to try their money shot, and it seemed to work, but then oh no, it didn't, and now it comes
Now you
back,
can bring out the cool thing.
really
The
spitting its acid, and all is lost. Well, why don't we just have him eat it? Maybe, I don't want to say he's probably swearing off banthas anymore, but yeah, Mando really was upsetting him, shooting him with it, and maybe it was just focused on hitting Mando,
uh-huh.
and just the fact that he got the bantha in his bite with him was just extra. But it is a little extra. Sarah, to be honest, it doesn't bug me at all. It's not going to be a big plot hole or anything like that. Um, I guess think about how amazing that scene was. Let's just say it was 8 minutes. Okay, I don't know.
Felt longer, but
Okay, so let's
it would
just
have been
say it
fine.
was 10 minutes.
Whatever.
Whatever it is. Okay, that if they lured it out and gave it the bantha and blew it up in 30 seconds, it would have been really,
That would have sucked.
uh, yeah, good word usage. It would have
It
sucked.
would have sucked.
Fantastic. I agree. So it was so epic, big, but I can totally see. I'm a very critical person too at times, and I'd be like, why didn't they just do that in the first
I
place?
mean, it's a season premiere. They
It is
gotta
a season
go big
premiere,
or go home.
but I think they wanted to build the story, and the climactic moment. So plot analysis, develop the climax even higher and greater, and let it last longer. And sorry,
Drag it
and
out to an hour episode.
yep, and then yeah. So I believe that's what I think of it. So, any last things to say about that question?
Good question.
Great question. Thank you so much to Sarah and all of our other fans who have sent stuff in
Keep sending questions.
over the weeks. Keep sending them in during this. They can be about the episodes. They can be the ones we've watched coming up, or you can be talking about our, Obi-Wan Kenobi stuff. And if we get a ton of Kenobi questions, maybe we just do a podcast of us talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi. What everybody's wondering about. So please feel free to. Might as well hit them up with our social media stuff now. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter at Mallrats Podcast, or Gmail. It's a not modcast. Mallrats Pod, MAUL Rats Pod at gmail.com. So that's any of our future Q&A.
Have you been listening to too much Kevin Smith podcast?
Why would I say that?
I don't know.
I'm not saying that.
It's like you've memorized his Gmail.
No, there's Smod Castle, Smod.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing.
I was getting close. So, anyways, you good to go? Ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, so we are all queued up for the last episode of this particular podcast. This is the second episode of season 2. Overall, they consider it to be chapter 10 of the story. So, season 2, episode 2, and the passenger. So, on the count of 3.
No, on the count of go.
On the count of go.
3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, I'm glad we don't do 1, 2, 3, go. That felt weird.
It did. We only did it once, right? Oh, there's Zero the droid. Some flashbacks. Okay, that is important that we see that.
Yeah.
So as we get rehashed to what just happened previously, we don't need to recount it, but again, if people are listening to this and experiencing, like, I remember when I watched it in the first time and then second time, I was so over, I was just ready for this second episode because that first one was just like, oh my God. I think I watched it twice that first night.
It was just,
the crate track. And so when this one came out, it was a downer. But as you will see, there are some really cool things that do happen.
And there's a payoff, too.
And there's a huge payoff, especially with the next season. The next episode 3. Some vital information's there. But it was just, you couldn't top. Look at the hero pose.
A little bit of a drift there.
A little bit.
It's kind of an interesting intro.
Why is that?
I don't know. They just put it on just for this show, and then they put it on everything else.
You mean all that laser?
Yeah, just put like the Lucasfilm thing, and then go into the show.
Yeah, they want to put their stamp on it. All right, so he's clearly still on Tatooine. We have the twin sons, so it picks up immediately where it left off. Okay, this is not looking good. So he clearly got his Boba Fett gear. Punch it. I do believe I forgot about this part.
They're setting a trap for Mando.
But they knew right where he was coming. How not dead?
How not dead?
Full speed motorcycles, sudden stop, you'd be dead.
Oh,
especially
there's a ding.
2.
There's 2. Keep counting.
I'll help you. Boom. Shot the little guy. Right in his leg. So are we meant to believe that they're still chasing Baby Yoda?
Yes.
So the fob is still active?
I guess.
Because they ended Grief Karga and everything. Those look like one of the scavengers that Ray has to deal with on Jakku.
Like Kyoto or something. The guy on
The robotic
yeah.
four-legged thing that picks up BB-8.
Uh-huh.
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 It looks just like that, from what I remember. I love it. Just like magnetic disconnection.
That'd be awesome.
So easy. Look how tiny but yet powerful. Now, do you blame Mando for doing what he's going to do here in a second?
No.
You put a knife to his kid or my
He was
kid's
threatening to
throat.
hurt Baby Yoda.
You know what I mean? This thing,
This is just funny.
you're not going to let him go. This is great. Whoop. And watch, see his head? Both eyes and the head are just watching it fall.
He could have let go.
Oh. Literal shrug. That was awesome.
Dark side Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm. They both look. He's like, what? Oh, well. Fantastic intro. See? Okay, for bagging on this episode as much as we have.
Yes, the beginning part.
That was a fantastic opening.
Before the title.
The Passenger. My gosh, it looks like he's doing CrossFit. Where's the gym? He really had that much stuff bundled on his.
No. He just had the meat and the armor.
Yeah, it doesn't look. Well, maybe he did bring the meat. I don't know. Not that I grew up in a desert, but I was raised to believe that, you know, when you're watching the movies and stuff, you're in the desert, you pretty much are holed up.
Yeah.
In the shade, if there is any, and then you like walk at night. And
that's what you're supposed to do, is you walk at night.
And this guy, full armor, I'm just gonna.
He'd be sweating.
Right where to go.
Right into the cantina.
No.
And he didn't say anything?
Oh. Maybe need a water? Hey, Pelly.
Oh, the bug guy.
Okay,
Dr. Mandible.
Now, I read that this was directed by Peyton Reed, who was the director of Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. So for the Marvel movies, Ant-Man. And so
is this a reference?
He directed this episode, and so you have a giant ant here with Pelly. And yep, Peyton Reed directed this one.
Oh, they're playing Sabak.
He also, Peyton Reed, is going to direct the finale of this, The Rescue.
Ooh.
So this, I'm sorry, I wasn't seeing. Is this Sabak or is this just some other game?
This is Sabak.
Is this Sabak? Okay. Oh yeah, the cards. Idiots are right. Dr. Mandible is the name of the big ant. That's just ridiculous. Well, they're roasting it all at once.
That would take forever.
30-pound slab.
The inside would have to be.
Do you think that'd be very heat efficient, using one of their engines to blast?
You'd be using jet fuel. That would, like,
exhaust
lighter
fumes.
fluid has weird fumes on
Right.
it.
Gotta get some charcoal or, you know, coals and then go in and just set it over. Alright, so he's still checking out to find more Mandalorians. That's driving him.
Yeah. Sublight.
All right, it's been a while since I've seen this. So I wonder why just sublight.
Because of the eggs. They'll die
Did they go too
if they
fast?
go hyperspace. I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Maybe we'll find out. Because,
I think they tell us.
yeah, you don't experience going any faster. Uh, all right, so she can speak whatever frog language.
She can speak frog and she can speak Jawa.
Jawa, because she dated a Jawa. That's funny. All right, so affectionately, there's Frog Lady, who is clearly the passenger, which is titled for this episode. And so all of the memes of Baby Yoda eating or eggs, etc., it's this one. And it really caused some people semi-jokingly, but yet semi-disturbed by it, was him knowingly knows that those are the eggs and the
He knows
last of
they're
their
eggs.
kind, and he's just popping them in one after another. And
He's
while
hungry.
it's cute, it's kind of disturbing and dark.
Whatever.
When a kid's
He
hungry, a
loves the
kid's hungry.
frogs.
Mm. I'll just sit here and be quiet.
If those are the last of the kind, she probably would have locked it up.
Yeah, maybe just thought it was safe. Didn't think that somebody was gonna crack open and eat them. Those things look huge. Mm. They do some great takes with that little guy. I believe he's just leaving her alone up there. Oh. So do you tell her that you ate one? Hope she
No.
doesn't notice. Oh,
Better lock that door.
can't even like really stretch out, can he? Oh,
Already.
the X-wings, the cops of the sector, and this sets up at the end of Boba Fett. You remember when they pull him over for speeding in his Naboo fighter? Hmm.
And also with you.
Just flying natural. Uh, I'm still gonna use them. They're not gonna go for it. Love it. Tension. What are they saying?
Open the
Uh-oh.
folds.
What happens when they lock foils in attack position?
A chase.
Oh, from the Prisoner episode. There's Dave Filoni.
Bothan 5.
There's Blue.
I like how they how like there's Alpha and there's Charlie and Foxtrot and stuff
Mm-hmm.
and Bravo. Their B is just Bothan.
Bothan. I love it. He didn't even answer. Were you near a Persian transport, which is what they solely used as MiGs and everybody, and ran? Whoa. You just pray there's no mountains right there. Mmm. Wow.
Reminds me of the snow planet in Interstellar.
Mmm. The Matt Damon one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very much so. Look at that. All right, these X-Wings got a lot more screen time than I remember them.
That's Dave Filoni and who?
Dave Filoni, and then just another actor. But that's the one who talks to Cara Dune and tries
Yeah.
recruiting her and stuff. We see her and him again in a couple episodes. Wow. It's a lot harder to fly that thing than like the Falcon through there, some little speeder. Gotta get back and check her eggs because clearly they were not strapped down. Ouch. Now this is kind of a nerd alert, but that big cavern looks a lot like the Rebels episode where Zeb and the Imperial agent, is his name Kolas? They get stuck on an ice planet and they have to defend themselves
Yes, that
and
one.
work
I
together,
love
but they
that
are
one.
sworn enemies. Callus was that his name? Callus.
Yes.
Yeah, this is definitely not space worthy.
What do you mean?
He said, "Damn it,
I know.
no dank ferret."
There should have been.
Wow, lazy writing, John Favreau. What do I mean, not space worthy? Big old hull breach right there.
Yeah,
Not only are they going to freeze
it
to
was
death here,
sarcastic.
but they can't fly it. So take the one in his hand. Oh, oh. Were you surprised with the intelligence that Frog Lady has? That
Yeah.
shows. We just thought she was just some little passenger stowaway type person. She has some sort of abilities.
Oh,
Yeah, that little amphibian, both of them amphibians have to be kind of chilly.
who's the other amphibian?
Probably Yoda or Baby Yoda.
I wouldn't say he's an amphibian.
Well, you don't. What do you think he is? Straight up reptile?
A mammal.
Cold blooded. Oh, he's mammal.
Yeah.
He's got little hairs on him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Sure. Fantastic. See, this is great. You get a
Yeah.
cameo of Zero, the droid from the prison episode. Richard Ayoade.
Vocabulator. Yeah.
Yep. Very, very clever. Nice. Yeah, what does it say about his code that he's so gung ho about it, but yet, I'm going back on my word.
I think it depends.
Well, it clearly depends. Why do but he's so much about following a certain line of this is the way and my word and all of this stuff, but he's ready to break it. Why do you think he does that?
I don't know. Is
Just a
there
question.
is there an answer here? Or
Just trying to have conversation.
I'm trying to watch the episode.
I can see that. Now there are some beautiful shots in this, as you'll see even with the artwork later. Um, very people where I remember online were trying to figure out, oh, are they on Hoth or they? I'm like, the fact that they come back to Tatooine so much kind of bugs me a little bit, just because it's such a big galaxy. So I don't want them to always go back to Hoth in the same spots.
I'm just glad they don't tell us.
Yeah, I don't think we need that. But I'm kind of surprised that those X-wings can't do any sort of searching for life. When Luke goes to Dagobah, he's able to have sensors. He can pick up life readings, animals and stuff on
So
the.
why didn't they do that?
Well, maybe since they fell, they landed and then they just fell through the ice, so maybe the sensors don't go down that far. I don't know. There's only so much you can weld, dude. Do you think his armor provides much warmth?
Maybe a little bit.
An armor of steel.
At least like an insulator.
Yes. Keeps the wind off you, but not really it protects you too much. Hopefully it's light, so it doesn't cause too much, has too much effort to wear. Excuse me. All right, so every step and every second he's not working on the ship, it means they're there longer.
Yeah. And this episode goes on another minute.
No, we're not quite done.
This one does go by quick though, which is nice.
It's really only like one big battle type thing, right?
Yeah.
But it was kind of nice restarting it and having that intro scene, and it helps a little bit. I had a feeling that we weren't going to be as negative about this because I don't know. I'm sure we've watched it at least once since it premiered.
Yes.
But definitely not more than that. So it is somewhat.
I mean, it's not a bad episode. Like, it's not like. I don't. It's not like they're relying on cheap gimmicks. They're not
No.
doing anything bad. It's like still good
So
cinematography. It's
what do you
just
think it is?
it's kind of just like a dead spot. It's just an episode. Like every episode is somewhat self-contained,
Mm-hmm.
but this is just on a different planet with a different character that ends up not doing anything. I guess the whole point of having an episode in an 8 episode season just to bridge episode 1 to episode 3,
It feel
it's
like
not
a
worth it.
waste
Yeah.
instead of maybe just taking half an episode or a segment in an episode to do that
Yeah.
bridge. So you're more talking about it in the scope of an 8 episode thing. That's a big commitment
Yeah.
to just get us to this planet.
Like in Book of Boba Fett, the
Mm.
5th episode, the end of it was a little bit of Boba Fett, and then the 6th episode was more Mandalorian, and then a little bit more of Boba Fett in a show that's entirely about him,
Yeah,
or should be at least.
should be.
It should be.
Well, but if it's the book of Boba, they're like you talked
No,
about.
I said it should be about Boba.
Right, but in a book, as you did in one of the Q&As back then, in a book, every chapter doesn't have to be about that main character. It could be about some other.
Well, I know,
So
but when
like you
two
were
of the
correct.
episodes are just a little bit of backstory to get you pumped up for season 3.
And I completely agree with what you're saying. But since those episodes were so magic, I'm not going to complain.
No, they were very good episodes.
But I like what you had to say here with the just in the scope of 1/8 of the season being this. That really the only point is we just have to get the information once we get her to that planet. It's just a lot to waste, a lot of time being
Uh,
wasted. So here we have anybody who's ever seen Alien
yeah, no,
clearly
the face
is like,
huggers.
we have some face huggers here. Don't look down into the pot. And even the Rick and Morty episode, Promortius.
Promortius.
Yeah. But his little stomach is getting him into
Is he
trouble.
ever full?
Right. Would he have eaten all those eggs and then still been over here?
Probably.
Okay. Yeah. Prometheus, Alien, any of the aliens, you start getting freaked out. Uh-oh.
Sounds like a little baby.
Yeah. That's what is almost so adorable about him. Now, this, I believe, was some conceptual art for Ralph McQuarrie, like we were talking about a little bit ago. Original artwork for, I want to say, on Dagobah. If not Dagobah, clearly Hoth because of the ice connection. But I want to say it was Dagobah that Luke and or Yoda interacted and had to fend for themselves against giant spiders. And they look just like these.
Well, this big spider reminds me of
I'm sorry?
in the later seasons of Rebels, where they're on that home base planet with those big
Yes.
underground spiders.
They were almost like force.
They were like 4 sides, and they had like those, like they looked sort of like that.
Yeah, they were force sensitive though to some way, right? Because they would have to put up. There were certain fence posts that they would put up that would keep them at bay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these things are big. It's like like Shelob from The Hobbit or from the Lord of the Rings books. As they're trying to get up to Mordor and the tower. But yeah, these things are very fast and very big. Man, that thing's massive. Wow. So again, I'm sorry to connect it. And there's a lot of stuff from the old conceptual stuff, whether it's from Ralph McQuarrie or just some other, pre planning stages of different movies. And it's nice that they finally get to see the light of day.
Like how the Wookiee was supposed to be Zeb.
Yes, Ralph McQuarrie, one of his first caricatures of Chewbacca was a large, what purplish looking
Some green.
green, just very not Chewbacca at all. And they took that 100% same design, and in Star Wars Rebels, one of the main supporting characters, the big beefy guy was Zeb. Was it Zeb Aurelios? Or is that
Something.
I think that's what she called him, Hera. But yeah, so we get just this fighting little pests. Clearly, you're gonna get overrun. You got to get out of there. Uh-oh. Awesome.
That'll warm up your. Oh, I think I didn't like that either. That
The the
she's a
hopping.
yeah, like more. She's more civilized than a frog, like an actual
So
frog.
then when she's in danger, she reverts back to just being a frog. And that didn't stick with you?
Inconsistent.
No. You think that she'd have a quicker way to move around?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not the big one. Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Straight up face hugger looking.
Ugh.
Yeah, very gross. If anybody is scared of spiders, they are
Even just
very,
like a ton of them.
very grossed out. Oh my gosh. And you know who you have to blame.
Baby Yoda.
You know it.
You can't stay mad at him.
Aw, just dancing on his head. Yeah, the flamethrower dropping a little bomb or something down that crack would be pretty good.
She kind of
Oh,
looks
like
like
that?
Kermit.
Wow, that's a pretty cool shot. All right, now what you gonna do? The
I feel like
sound
the big
design,
one would try to break into it.
all the little feet. What, you think you did enough welding before you went to the sauna? You just got to get up and get, what would you call that, sea level? Oh my gosh, the weight of that.
Oof.
Spiders aren't heavy, but
That one
that
is.
one is. Oh, oh,
Space ready?
no. Cockpit is breached. This thing's upset. You've been killing my kids. You've been eating my babies. Oh, it looks like a rat
Oh.
car.
Oof. Like a naked mole rat.
Target practice.
Oof.
Well, that didn't take long. Hmm. Yeah, they're no stormtroopers, are they?
Oh no.
Quit shooting my ship.
They're not missing.
That's amazing. So, for the listeners who might not know who Dave Filoni is, can you give us a little bit of backstory about the gentleman?
Um, he just does a lot of Star Wars directing and writing. I think he works a lot with Jon Favreau too. And I don't know what else you want from me. He's a director and a writer.
He got his start with the Clone Wars animated show, and he was the showrunner and creator of all of that.
Yeah, director.
And then went into, helping out Rebels, and now he is the de facto head of, gosh, what was his title? He was just given a title of Lucasfilm or Disney Plus, their Star Wars TV lineups. He is pretty, in essence, the showrunner of their whole stuff. So he is a legit fanboy that has just worked hard and has really risen to lead some of the best intellectual property that Star Wars has come out with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the X-wing that Dave Filoni's flying right there, the one that was on the right after they filmed this episode, okay, they took it and put it down in Galaxy's Edge in either Anaheim or at Disney World, whichever one. So there's an X-wing on display people can go up to and get pictures with and stuff. And
Dave Filoni touched it.
Dave Filoni was inside that one for the close-ups and stuff. Nope. Wasn't that what they were riding like that anyways?
Uh-huh.
How do you plug the holes? That's what I just get sheet metal from elsewhere and
Yeah.
just cover it as best you can. Now them flying in space and their ships just open, I think that was in one of the teasers or trailers.
They're
It's
just
like, okay, what's happening?
yeah.
Something's gonna happen in an episode. Didn't think it was gonna be spiders.
With a frog lady.
He just needs repulsors, just straight up.
Oh, tip in there.
Look how frosty his helmet is. He kept his word. Oh. So she knows something happened. Maybe they're not like viable embryos right now. They're just
They have to. She said they had to be fertilized.
They did need to be fertilized. Okay, good. So it's not like each one of those is a life.
No.
Okay, that's good. So Peyton Reed, some good moments throughout. Jon Favreau wrote it, but now this stuff here isn't the original artwork I was talking about of McQuarrie as it pertained to the spiders. You'd have to find those on your own, but they're definitely have been published. And I'm gonna say they were Dagobah that they had it in. So what was that? Dr. Mandible, the
Dr. Mandible.
ant. So a little bit of a what do you call it? Easter egg in there for Marvel fans.
Why did he think he was on a hot streak? He had such a bad hand. He had like a plus 14.
No idea. Nolan's kind of into sabacc lately.
You are too.
So he's a little card and he's analyzing the play of the giant ant.
No, it's his hand was like all greens.
Okay. Well, maybe he was waiting for one of the disruptor fields to set or randomize.
There wasn't a disruptor field, so I don't know how she got an idiot's array.
Hey, maybe she was stacking the deck like Lando.
And if you don't know what we're talking about,
card up her sleeve.
Watch the Darth Bane Path of Destruction analysis.
Yeah. Or just you can read the first few chapters of the Darth Bane book, and it goes into great detail. And we do talk a little bit about Darth Bane and his sabacc playing. Anyways, thank you guys. We were really kind of missing watching Mandalorian, but we were able to finally find some time, to get one in the can here. So thank you so much for listening. Again, you feel free to send us comments. You can check it out. All of our addresses, etc., can be found in in the podcast write up. So Nolan, in talking about rewatching these, I remember you distinctly go, "Oh, we got to do the frog one then." And now that
I'm a bit more okay with the frog
dreading
one.
it, but now does it still have such a sour taste?
I would never want to watch it again
Never,
on purpose. I mean, if
never
no,
watch it
like
again.
for the third season,
Yeah.
we'd watch the first season and the second season. I'd watch it then, but I'm not going to go. I don't like. I would pick the Marshal.
Mhm.
I would pick the Believer. I'd pick the Prison Break. I'd pick
Gotcha.
basically any episode over watching that one.
And again, folks, it's just comparatively to the
Yes, yeah,
other
yeah.
excellent ones. This still had good moments,
I'd rather have
but
fun watching a good one
yeah,
than watching an okay one.
okay. I like that. Now, okay. I think I'm in the same vein as you. I do think that letting time pass between viewings does allow you to see kind of things with a different, I don't say different perspective, but kind of a refreshed,
Oh,
renewed
definitely,
perspective.
because like watching it for the first time, we watched the first episode, then the second episode when the
Mhm.
second episode came out. Then we watched the second and the third when the third episode came out. So you just watch it 2 weeks in a row and it just get like the same thing over
Yeah,
again.
it can be repetitive, and you're not being surprised. And one of the neat things is the anticipation. That's why Christmas is so wonderful as a kid. That's why, the Star Wars countdown for 2, 3 years before the movies come out, and then the month before, and you're just so excited. The anticipation, and then when you have it pay off, like the crate dragon, you want that every time. And it's
Hmm.
just you
You
can't
can't always get it,
you can't always get what you want.
but the episodes get better.
They do. And this season is uh
Three's great, four's great,
I think
five's
two
great.
is the only misstep, but again, it's just comparatively. But I remember this whole season, especially the last half, really
I
just
remember the
keeps
last
building.
two; those were the
Oh
big
man,
ones.
very exciting. So yeah, we look forward to recording the next episodes 3 and 4 of season 2. Feel free to reach out. Any questions you have about anything Star Wars related. Doesn't have to be just what we're talking about, or anticipating coming up. And we'll get back with you shortly. So,
I'm Nolan.
and I'm Bob.
That's
Mallrats,
that's
baby,
Mallrats, baby.
baby.